member climbing.
Climb on! I'm your host, Eric Brown, and with me, Mr. Mike Jones.
Hey man, yeah, it's so cool when you are climbing that you have somebody that's got your back.
Yeah, I trust you.
Yeah,
For
thank you.
sure.
And I
Yeah.
trust you as well. And when we're on this climb, y'all, what I'm going to say to you, the context of this conversation is climbing outside of your comfort zone. When we are on a climb, it is so important that you know who has your back. Because when you take support with you, when you have somebody that is willing to climb with you, then the climb itself, no matter how tough it is, seems somewhat easier.
Yeah, Mike, I got to push up against that, though, because I know our listeners are asking, how are you able to create that type of trust in an environment?
Yeah, by having each other's back. The way we create trust here at Discover Leadership Training is the way we believe you should be focused on creating trust. Now, if I say to you, team member climbing, and you say climb on, you're acknowledging that you have my back. Now, when something occurs, if you've got my back in that moment, we are now developing that authentic trust that is not assumptive trust, but truly authentic trust that's going to allow me to have the confidence to even climb on even further as we build more trust in the relationship for me to be able to take on some of the tough climbs.
Got it. So building trust is truly doing what you say you're going to do when you said you would do it, and that creates more authentic trust in the environment.
Absolutely. And when that trust exists, y'all, when you are climbing to whatever level of self-confidence that you have right now, to a higher level of self-confidence, you will do the types of things that are very uncomfortable for you when you know who has your back during the climb.
Yeah, you definitely play the game differently when you have those trusting individuals at your six.
Absolutely. And what we're encouraging you to do right now is to climb out of that comfort zone and take a risk to go for the sweetest fruit available to you. When you have the courage to get out of that comfort zone and take that climb to your next level, you are absolutely going to feel accomplished when you get to that next level. But here's another awareness that we want to drop on you today. When you reach what you believe is the top, it's not over. That now becomes the foundation for you to climb even higher. And as you build the trust in those relationships where you know who has your back, you will continue this climb until you no longer have breath in your body.
Okay, so I heard you say that you plateau. So once you get to a certain level, you kind of plateau out. How do you continue the journey upward with the climb?
Well, the beautiful thing is that we can reach those plateaus, Eric, because that allows us to evaluate our climb. If there are some things that we need to change our approach in order to be more effective in our climb, that's when we can evaluate those things during that plateau. So absolutely take advantage of the plateau. It allows you to be able to evaluate the relationships, how people had your back or didn't have your back, how well you were able to control the conversation that you were having with yourself, how well you were able to absolutely support the people who are supporting you. Once you've made that evaluation, then absolutely find something else to aspire to that will allow you to best your best on this climb and get even higher and go for even sweeter fruit out on those skinny branches.
Okay, so Mike, at one point in my career, like I hit that plateau. I mean, I got to this level and I was celebrating my ass off. I mean, it was a party. And I actually felt like I dipped down below after that. I mean, it took me a minute to kind of continue the climb up. What would you say to get over that inertia and get people moving in the right direction?
Yeah, and first of all, let's acknowledge that is going to occur as long as you are on this journey of growing. Once you stop doing whatever it was that you were doing and you plateau out and you're evaluating, there is a chance, because you're no longer doing those things that were dynamic enough to keep you on that trajectory, that you may lose a little bit of that. That's perfectly okay, y'all, when you settle in at whatever that plateau is. But as Eric said, we certainly want to make sure that when you get to that plateau, you absolutely celebrate like hell. Celebrate all of the accomplishments that you made. Celebrate the people that were supporting you along the way. Celebrate the fact that you had the courage to get out of that comfort zone and enjoy that sweet fruit at the plateau. But when it is time and you are ready to overcome the inertia, you have got to set another powerful, positive outcome that you are aspiring to best your best. You've got to recognize that we all occupy the largest room in the house, which is a room for improvement, and it's never going to be over until you say that it is over. So again, whenever you reach the ceiling, that is not an ending, it is an opportunity for a brand new beginning.
So quite often in my corporate environment, we're focused on finding out what's wrong so we can stop creating that or whatever. And I know I've heard you say, focus on catching people doing things right. How does that relate to the client?
But you know, the beautiful thing too, Eric, is I just had a conversation with a client, a coaching client this week. And his whole thing was, well, Mike, if I don't tell them what's wrong, then they are destined to do what's wrong again. So I wanted to reframe that for him as I want to reframe it for you. If I tell them what I want them to do that is right, I am still accomplishing the exact same thing of telling them what not to do. However, one of those is moving forward and the other one is moving backwards. So I want you to take a moment to get your teeth into that, because I know for most of y'all, that was just kind of weird because you've never thought about it that way. But let me throw it at you again from a little different perspective. When I am communicating what I want, I don't have to communicate what I don't want. When they understand what I want, where I want them to go, and what it's going to take to get there, then I don't need to tell them all of the negatives that they have to somehow work through to figure out what I want. I am going to be direct in the communication of what I want and what it's going to take to get there. And when I take the time and accept personal responsibility to make sure that they understand that, we are going to move forward and only forward.
So many key messages in this pod blast. I mean, you build trust on a team and you play differently when you know who has your back. It's not over until you say it's over. I mean, failure isn't fatal unless you give up. I mean, it's some smoking hot shit, man. It is.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, when you have the courage to get out of that comfort zone and go to the next level and go on that climb, when you project out loud, team member climbing, and you hear,
climb on!
Then you have the confidence to get out of that comfort zone and to go for it, knowing that they've got your back every step of the way.
Yeah, so get out there on this edge, y'all, and let's take this shit next level.
Absolutely, because when you get out on that edge, you climb out on that edge, if you know that you're on that edge, it's going to feel really weird to you. But baby, if you're not on that edge, you are taking up far too much room.
Here we go now.